against 7 strangers, does that not make you a serial killer?
So I didn't kill them every day, did I? Did I go out there every day and say, I'm gonna kill? If I did, there would be
Well, no,
hundreds.
it took you 12 months.
Then he brings up Rex again, and that's when I just looked at him and I started stabbing him.
If I had shot my own children, would I not have done a good job of it?
Because, first of all, women generally don't commit crimes this heinous.
Right.
This is usually the domain of men.
That's unfortunate.
Hi, Gabe.
Hey, Danny.
How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. A little tired, but nothing to complain about. How about you?
Okay, I'm really tired too.
Why?
I think I'm getting sick, but don't worry. Don't worry. I solved it because I just drank this.
What is that?
It says immunity on it. So
TM, brand name immunity.
It's a turmeric pineapple immunity. So I don't know. It's like a little juice shot. And clearly I just drank this whole thing. So now I won't get sick.
That's just science.
Yeah.
But now that you mention it, my voice does sound a little weird to me.
So do you remember this whole... Wait, okay. First, before we get into that, quick disclaimer that I think I might have told Gabe. I don't know. This is a Valentine's Day episode.
Oh, I did not know this.
We're going to have to release this one before the one we've already recorded.
Okay.
So this isn't going to be in order beginning-wise or talking to each other.
Yes, fair enough.
There we go. Anyways, this whole last week, I've been complaining about how I haven't been able to focus at work and I've been really tired.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's because I'm getting sick.
That would make brain fog. COVID. It's back.
Ugh, don't say that.
Did you test?
I don't think it's COVID.
I don't actually care if it is at this point.
It's probably the bird flu.
Yeah, there you go. From all the birds you eat.
It's the bird flu mixed with COVID and the flu. Yeah, the flu's going around too really badly right now.
Is it really?
Mm-hmm. So get your flu shot if you'd like. Oh, you mean that microchip in you?
Yeah.
We're just kidding, guys. We're just kidding.
Yeah. The government would never track you with the flu shot. They just do it with your smartphone.
Yeah. But like I just feel like really tired and like slightly off, So I think my body's just fighting off a cold. And Gabe just made a weird look like, what?
No, I tried to put the mug down without clanking because it's a ceramic coaster.
Like, sorry to bore you. I don't know.
No.
Anyways, so yeah, other than that, I'm doing good. But since we're doing this out of continuity, I guess we will really, really, really quickly go over why we've been gone so long.
Right. Yes, we should. Good
Okay.
idea.
My dog's been in the hospital. He now has an infection, so that's new. So he's a cone head and it's been miserable, but it's all good. We will go into more detail next week with the episode we've already recorded. Yeah. And also my grandpa died. So that's...
When?
Oh, Trash didn't tell you?
No.
Like 3 weeks ago?
He didn't say anything.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That sucks.
Yeah. It's okay. He was 90. He died peacefully, how we all want to go. Kind of like in your sleep,
I prefer to go when I'm tops 70, but yes, overall.
Kobe says the same thing. He's like, as soon as I reach 70, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh, what the heck?
It's just, there's such a thing as living too long.
But the crazy thing is, like, he was active, walked around, like, happy. So, I don't know. I think if I was in that shape in 90, then yeah.
True. I just can't count on myself to stay in that shape. I
I
feel like
know.
so much of it at that age is genetics and luck.
That's true. I did spend all day yesterday helping my grandma hang artwork.
Mhm.
That was tiring.
We know we have too many microplastics in our bodies to make it to be that healthy anymore.
I don't know if it's true, but in college, I read that our bodies are decaying at a slower rate than they did like in the 50s because of the amount of plastic in our bodies.
So we should be consuming more microplastics.
I don't think it's a good thing because if your body's not decaying, it probably means like there's some processes that aren't working as well. I don't know science.
Have you heard of the worldwide
Web.
No,
Oh.
just worldwide.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. Worldwide.
There's apparently a drop in testosterone levels among men. And I've not actually heard anyone say it's because of microplastics, but I feel like it's got to be connected.
I feel like just not enough is known about microplastics, that they're like kind of like don't want to raise the red flag when they're like, we don't actually know yet.
True. Maybe we should be consuming macroplastics
Just
and then
like,
measure those results.
take a chunk of plastic and eat it.
Little plastic beads.
Just swallow gum. I feel like there's got to be plastic in gum, right? Like
It totally stays in your stomach for 7 years. Remember that myth?
yeah. I believed it too.
Everyone
Oh my
did.
God,
We were
yeah.
kids.
I used to believe that if you, I don't even know if I want to say this on where everybody in the world can hear it, but I used to believe, because my mother told me, that if you peed in the shower, it would like clog the drains or something. Like you cannot pee in the shower.
I'm glad we brought this up.
What?
This is one of those situations. I didn't know peeing in the shower was considered such like faux pas or so bad. I don't understand the difference between peeing in a shower.
Peeing in the toilet.
Yes, like it all goes to the same sewage lines.
Oh, does it though?
Why? I guess I'm not sure now that you say it, but why wouldn't it? Why would they go to different sewages?
I don't know, but it was so ingrained in me that like I still didn't do it because I'm like, I don't want to clog the drains with this liquid that is the same consistency of
Yes,
water.
no, and it's mostly water.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. Ugh.
Just the way people talk about it. It's like if you said, it's like if you're telling someone you took a dump in your shower. Like people react to that strongly. They're like, how could you do this?
Well, that's fair. That's disgusting.
Yes, but that one actually is.
Oh, I actually didn't know it was a hot topic. Peeing in the shower.
Yeah, there's like these little ones that come up every now and then, and I find myself wondering, like, why is this such a thing? Like, why are people so bothered by this? It seems so benign.
Interesting.
What do I know? I mean, granted, out of a habit, I just like pee before showering, so it's not like a thing. But
anyways, what are you doing for Valentine's Day?
no plans right now. It's not really something we celebrate.
That's fair. It's very fair.
What about you?
I don't know. Same. I don't even know if Kobe's working or not. I don't know. But a lot of people do celebrate it. And in my phone, I don't know when I put this in my phone, but I put in my phone, do this person for Valentine's Day. And I came across it and I was like, why did I put this in my phone? And then I was like, oh, we're doing a Valentine's Day episode. So here we are.
Oh, okay.
Like in my calendar.
No, I'm looking at Danny confused because she said, do this person on Valentine's Day. And I'm thinking, you're married. What do you mean this person? You mean your husband? Danny's trying
cover this person for the Valentine's Day murder episode.
Got it.
Sally McNeil. Oh my God.
I heard do this person. So that's why I was sitting here like, what do you mean?
Cover this person. Her name is Sally McNeil.
Yes.
And I think this is an episode that Gabe will really appreciate. Kobe even watched a 3-hour documentary with me on it. Not by choice, but he found it very interesting.
Nice. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's actually a topic that Kobe was interested in. So perfect.
Okay, cool. Let's do it.
Okay. So Sally McNeil was born September 30th, 1960 in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Her father was an abusive alcoholic who was frequently abusive to Sally's mom. Her mom ended up leaving, remarrying when Sally was 3 years old, and then the stepdad and Sally's mom had 2 more kids, or Sally's half siblings. And her stepfather was abusive to her. Yeah, I know. Just that circle of abuse there.
Yep.
It keeps coming back. And this is really, really sad, but Sally said that like since she wasn't his kid, she really wanted to prove that she was worthy of like his love. So she turned to sports, and during high school, she would train with the boys. She did a ton of sports like track, cross country, swim, diving.
Damn, okay.
And she was really good. Like just naturally, like Travis, like just naturally one of those people who just excels at whatever sport they do. And she ended up going to college with the goal of being a physical education teacher. She got 3.5 years into college, ran out of money, asked her parents for money. They said no, and she joined the Marine Corps instead.
So she would have been, or this would have been like now the 80s or the late 70s?
Late 70s. Well, yeah, early 80s. We're about to go into a year, so
Okay.
I'd say early 80s. So she joins and it wasn't just like she randomly joined the Marine Corps. Her brother and uncle were in the Marines, so it was like something she had been exposed to. And do you remember they used to like come to our high school?
Yeah, I think they go to everyone's high school.
They're trying to like get you to do pull-ups and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know if this is true or not, but someone we know, apparently because they have you take a little test
Mhm.
if you want there.
Yeah.
And if you score really, really high,
You got a t-shirt.
Yes. But apparently one of the recruiters discouraged a person we know who tested high from going into the Marines. He wasn't going to anyway, but he was like, yeah, you don't want to go in the Marines.
Who was it? Ew, yeah. Oh, interesting. Very cool.
I could totally see that being an exaggeration or a lie as well. I can't imagine a Marine recruiter would not recruit, you know?
Yeah. I also just, that person wasn't in the most like strength, physicality. I don't know what I'm saying here, but you get it.
Yes.
So anyways, she joins the Marine Corps, and then in 1982, she meets a guy named Tony. His real name's Anthony. He goes by Tony, and they start dating.
In the Marines?
In the Marines.
Mm-hmm.
She ends up getting pregnant, and they get married, but it was happy. They were happy together. It wasn't like, oh, no, we're pregnant. We have to get married. We don't love each other. It was like, yay, we're pregnant. We love each other. Let's get married.
Mistake.
You're just saying that because you know somebody gets murdered. So they get married. She has a daughter. She gets pregnant again. They have a son. And according to Sally, like as soon as they got married, Tony changed. He ends up getting really jealous. He would hit her regularly. And their neighbors, they lived on the Marine base, and the neighbors would regularly call the higher up people on them for domestic violence. And Sally said that they would come, but like nothing would ever really happen.
It's crazy to me. That is not an uncommon story I hear of the person changing after you get married.
That's so weird to me. Like, it's a piece of paper. Like, do you think you suddenly own this person?
I don't even know. I hadn't even thought of it from that perspective. I always thought of it as they're just hiding what they're like until you're married.
And you're stuck.
Yeah, but
It's fucked up.
yeah. Maybe yours makes more sense than someone being able to lie for that long.
Yeah, it's like, I think it's a form, I mean, I could be completely wrong, but to me it sounds like it's a form of possessiveness. Like after they got married, he would get like really jealous and like take it out on her. And anyways, it wasn't good. She ends up getting pregnant by another man. So clearly she did cheat.
Damn.
Yeah. And she gets transferred to Camp Pendleton in California from, I want to say, I think she was still in Pennsylvania at the time. And she leaves, she files for divorce. She gets to keep her 2 kids she had with Tony, but the third one, who's just a baby, who had a different father, ended up going up for adoption.
Damn, that sucks.
I'm not I think I could be wrong, but this is what I read between the lines from the interviews I watched with her and everything I read online. I think it was her choice.
Oh, yeah. Even if it's, I mean, sure. Cool.
Oh,
like,
are you saying it sucks for the kid?
Yeah, it just sucks for, because he gets to just be like, his dad doesn't want him, his mom doesn't want him.
I mean, honestly, maybe the child would have a better upbringing than if they had stayed with Sally. I don't know. Well,
It just feels a little cruel when you already have 2 kids and you're just like, but this bastard, he's got to go to the orphanage.
I know. I thought it was weird too. And it just like wasn't talked about a lot. It was just like, this is what happened. And I was like, but why?
Yeah.
Like, you already have 2. Maybe because the 2 were like not a newborn child, and a newborn's like a ton of work. I don't know.
What happened to the dad of that third baby?
He was never mentioned.
Damn, what a deadbeat too.
Yeah. So anyways, she goes to Camp Pendleton. She gets divorced. She takes her 2 kids with her. She ends up getting really into bodybuilding here. And she says it started with like just working out, and then she realized how strong she could be, and she was just hooked. And I guess, I didn't know this, but in the Marines, I don't know if it's specifically Camp Pendleton, but I don't think so. I think it was the Marines. There's like this internal group that's just really into bodybuilding. Like it's part of...
Makes sense to me.
Okay, I was like, what the hell?
I bet every military branch has something like this.
Yeah, I was surprised. And so within that bodybuilding group at Camp Pendleton, she meets a guy named Ray. And his name is Ray McNeil. And she describes it as lust at first sight. They hit it off and really connect, especially with their combined love of bodybuilding. You know, something that pretty much takes over your entire life because it's a lot of working out, watching what you eat, just so much structure, I guess. And like, yeah, I could never do it. Anyways, so they were together for a whopping 2 or 3 months before getting married.
Okay, wow.
And she says she was so in love, she didn't want to lose someone so amazing.
But you don't know him.
What? They've known each other for like 3 months now.
Would you?
Obviously not.
What kind of a person would you have to meet to want to marry them in 3 months?
I was going to say something, but it's too mean.
No, it's I
was going to say rich. But that's a joke.
I mean, is it though?
Yes, it is, because rich people... No, I'm okay.
I mean,
so, anyways.
Okay. Wait, is he rich?
No, he was not rich.
Oh, well then what's wrong with her? Damn.
She found him really attractive. She loved his personality. She said it was lust at first sight. I don't know. Clearly you should get married for lust and not love.
Fair.
In 1989, they got an apartment off base on South Tremont Street in Oceanside. The kids are actually interviewed in the documentary, and they said that Sally and Ray were in love and like good parents, and Ray really took the kids in, and like they called him dad, and you know, he like really became a part of that family.
Cool. I was about to ask how he was with the kids.
Yeah, they had family footage of the family going to Disneyland together, and the kids, they talked about how whenever they went anywhere with their parents, they would get a lot of attention because of how they looked, with being so muscular and also being a biracial couple in the early 90s, late 80s.
What are the races?
She's white, he's black.
Got it.
And the children, Sally's kids from Tony, are half white, half black.
Oh, so Tony was black too?
Yes.
Got it.
In 1990, they both won a bodybuilding competition, and they were the first husband and wife to ever win separately, like men and women. They both won their races separately, but
races?
Like, I guess that's not a race. The competition. Yeah. Their competition separately, but like they're man and wife.
Yeah.
So they won together. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And if I didn't know what kind of show we were, I would be very happy for them.
I know. It seems like it's great, right?
Yep.
Sorry, talking so much is like making my throat scratchy.
No worries.
I'm like,
Now
oh,
it's too
cool.
bad.
I'm definitely sick. It's fine. So, no, I was sick. Not anymore.
Yeah, not anymore.
Drink my immunity juice. So, Sally, by the way, the first competition she ever won in the mid 80s was on Valentine's Day. Fun fact.
Exactly 35 years ago by release date. Maybe.
Sure. So then they decide they want to go pro to get money out of it. It's mostly Ray at this point. And Ray ends up leaving the Marine Corps to go pro as a bodybuilder in 1991. The goal was to win Mr. Olympia. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, it's what Arnold Schwarzenegger was.
Yes, he has won it 8 times.
Arnold Schwarzenegger or Ray?
Arnold.
Oh, yes. Okay.
And Arnold's, for those of you who don't know who he is, Arnold Schwarzenegger is like an actor slash
Governor.
was the governor of California. But he made bodybuilding like really big with his movie called Pumping Iron. I have never seen it. Kobe's seen it, of course. I didn't realize Kobe was so into bodybuilding. And
How do you not realize that?
what?
Kobe's into bodybuilding.
I don't know. What? I don't know. Well, why would he be?
How much he works out, how big he is.
He weightlifts.
No, like the average person weightlifts. You know, they go to the gym and they lift some weights. Kobe's 250.
He is 230.
He told me 250 the other night.
God damn it. There's this one point where he's trying to reach 300. And he got so unhealthy. He wasn't like fit, he was just fat. Oh, it was horrible. Anyways, he's like a healthy weight now for his size. Anyways, so the goal was to win Mr. Olympia because that's how you make it big in the bodybuilding world. That's like the highest prestige you can get, and then you also get like $100,000 for winning, and
Damn, okay.
and on top of that, like you get a bunch of like sponsorships and deals and interviews, and so you get paid significantly more than just that chunk of money. So for them, it would be like a life-changing amount of money because at this point with Ray not really working and focusing on bodybuilding, money was really tight. Sally was still in the Marines and working the mess hall. She and her kids would dumpster dive for cans to make extra money, and
That sucks.
yeah, bodybuilding is expensive. The Netflix documentary Killer Sally said that he ate guess how many eggs per week he ate?
60.
114.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's not cheap.
Imagine how many chickens he would need.
Imagine how much money that would be nowadays. It'd be like $1,000 of eggs in a week. But even back then when eggs were like cheaper, that's still like $100, you know? Well, maybe like $50.
Yeah.
That adds up per week when you're like trying to dumpster dive for cans.
Especially when you consider that's not all he's eating.
No, he also ate a ton of steak, and this might come as a shock. Are you ready? I'm about to drop some tea.
I'm ready.
Flaming hot. The bodybuilding world is full of steroids.
No.
Yeah, I know. I was shocked as well.
You're telling me this noble and honorable sport is full of steroids?
Yes.
The sport where it's all about looking as big and jacked as possible?
Yes. I know. It's shocking. Your life is completely altered at this point. But they actually interviewed one of the, I want to say the judges, somebody who was like high up and involved in Mr. Olympia. And he said at one point, for 1 year, they drug tested all of the people, and they weren't allowed, all the contestants, and they weren't allowed to take steroids. And after that, the VIP watchers, the VIP,
very important person. Watchers.
yeah, like the customers who paid a lot of money to be there came up to him. And they're like, we don't want you to drug test anymore because everybody was so much like less impressive and lackluster compared to how they've had been in the past.
Yeah.
So they stopped testing.
I believe that fully.
Yeah. And Sally was also on steroids as
Really?
well. Yeah, it's part of that community.
Damn, but she's not even competing.
She is competing, but not.
Oh, okay.
She's not as intense as Ray, but it sounds like she wishes she could be. They just couldn't afford for both of them to.
I see, yeah.
Yeah. And at this point in his, actually still now, women got paid significantly less than men for bodybuilding. So for the men who would get, it was around $115,000 for winning Mr. Olympia, the women would get $27,000.
Wow, okay, that's a lot less.
Yeah. And I don't know if that's part of the reason why Ray was the primary one or what, but to me that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge difference.
Mm-hmm. And Sally would drive down to Tijuana to buy steroids. She said Ray took the bulk, but she would also take them to be able to lift heavier, and she was also competing. Between the money problems, steroids, and stress, they began to argue a lot more. Ray wanted Sally to stop trying to compete while bodybuilding so she could work more and focus on supporting him.
That sucks. Honey, you gotta work more so I can eat more eggs and take more steroids.
Yeah, it's hard. And one day while Sally was at a strong woman competition, which is like this competition where she could do, I want to say it was like 60 pull-ups.
Wow, that's a ton of pull-ups.
That's a lot of pull-ups. So a strong woman competition is like a strong man competition where they like lift shit and compete with other people to lift heavier stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what I know about it. I don't know. It's not like they like go in front of the camera and like pose and stuff like bodybuilding. It's like you compete with how strong you are.
Yeah.
Okay. So she did that as well as bodybuilding. And one day while she was at a strong woman competition, a man approached her and asked if Sally would wrestle for him.
Is this some kind of kink thing?
It is very much a fetish.
Mm.
Yeah, that is, yes. So there's this fetish that some people have of watching really, really muscular women wrestle men. And this guy, Bill Wick, made wrestling videos that had women bodybuilders in them and sold them.
How much is he paying?
I'm not sure how much he paid her, but she began to wrestle on the side and make extra cash. And then she began to make her own videos and just cut him out because you don't need him. She's the talent.
Yeah.
And she made her own cash and she began to be called Killer Sally. That was her like moniker. In 1993, she actually got out of the Marine Corps. There is a lot of speculation that she was kicked out of the Marine Corps for aggression issues and attitude. Yeah. And she began to focus on bodybuilding and wrestling. She would take on private meetings with men where she would meet them in person and wrestle them. And she said she'd make about $300 an hour.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And she clothed and everything?
That's what she said, yeah. She would literally like just wrestle them.
And what, like to pin them or for like an hour or what are the rule sets?
I think it depended on the person and what they wanted.
I mean, that seems kind of dope.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it seemed fine. She was making a decent amount of money doing it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's what she started doing. And then in 1993, Ray, so this is the same year she got out of the Marine Corps, Ray got the chance to compete in Mr. Olympia. How do you think he does?
Is Arnold Schwarzenegger still competing?
Not this year.
Then maybe pretty well.
So he places 15th.
I don't have many.
Kobe said 20. I'm not sure if that's true though. Hold on. The number of competitors in the 1993 Mr. Olympia competition is unknown.
Interesting.
Yeah. Wow. The guy who won that year, Dorian Yates, he won in 5 years. But, you know, he went in thinking he had the possibility of winning, and then he ended up getting like 15th, and it was a huge knock for him, I guess. And Sally says he took his frustration out on her, as, you know, any healthy relationship does. And Ray was described as being like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde with his personality flips. He was a gentle giant with a short fuse. That is a quote from his best friend.
Screw that. How are you a gentle giant with a short fuse? You're not a gentle giant. You're just an angry person.
Yeah, like people have to walk around eggshells on you.
Yeah.
But the odd thing is, it seems like he's mostly able to hide this like dark side of himself to most people except behind closed doors. So most people only saw the gentle giant side.
Sure, but because that's like public facing.
Right.
How does it? I guess I could understand why some people would think he's nice, but
I think it comes into play later when we go through the trial.
Okay.
So behind closed doors, what happened? domestic violence happened, Gabe, he would, sorry, I don't know what I was doing there.
That should be a regular thing now.
Just going into forensic file status here.
Yeah.
It's not funny though. It's really sad. He would choke Sally on a regular basis. She says that the third day they were married, he just like immediately bring us down.
Yeah.
The third day they were married, he punched her in the face, and he said he was sorry and he wouldn't do it again. And
Classic.
yeah, I know. She
That is the
believed.
cycle.
Yeah, she believed him, but shockingly, he did not change, and she kept telling herself he would change.
It's like this happened many decades ago, but it is always a little hard to hear different victims of domestic violence say the same script.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. He once broke Sally's nose, and this is while they were in the military together, and she reported him. And it's when they first had gotten married, and he ended up getting sent to the brig, but he was released and came home and beat her so badly until she agreed to drop the charges.
That's pretty horrific.
Yep. In early 1995, Sally was planning on leaving her husband after one of her bodybuilding woman friends was strangled by her boyfriend. So like it freaked Sally out because she was like, that could be me.
Well, did this friend get killed?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So, sorry, when you say strangled, I assume just like, and then she lived, but...
Oh no, sorry, strangled to death.
Got it, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm Googling if strangled means to kill.
I don't think so, because you can strangle somebody and they can live.
Yeah, nope, just have your throat constricted.
Yeah.
Okay, so Sally's friend gets killed by her roided up husband, and Sally goes, wait, what if that's me?
Mm-hmm.
At some point.
Yes. So she's planning on leaving Ray, is what she says. On Valentine's Day, 1995, Sally is trying to get a hold of Ray, but he's gone all day. And she's like, dude, it's Valentine's Day. Like, I still want to do something, you know? And she's like, Ray, where are you? And so she's like, oh, I bet he's down at this local bar. So I'm going to get ready and go see if he's there. So she starts to put makeup on. He comes home and sees her getting ready. And he gets, mad. He's like, where are you going? And she's like, I was going to go find you. And he's like, where are you? Speculation here. And this was a few days before a show. So he was on quite a lot of steroids at this point. And Ray apparently hits Sally after she tells him he looks like shit. And then he starts to choke her. She freaks out thinking she was going to die. And she manages to get away and run to the bedroom. She grabs a sawed-off shotgun they keep for security in the bedroom. She loads the gun as she's walking out of the bedroom into the living room, and she tells him to get out. He says no, so she shoots him in the abdomen, and he keeps coming at her, so she reloads by the kitchen and shoots him again in the face. And at this point, the daughter comes running out with a baseball bat because she thought Ray had thrown his mom against the china cabinet because she heard these like loud bangs, and you don't think shotgun. You just kind of fill it in.
I don't know, a sawn-off in an enclosed space would be very loud and quite distinct.
I don't know if she's ever heard of shotgun shot before though, so.
Fair.
So Sally is like, it's fine, go back to your bedroom. She runs, she gets a blanket to cover him, and she says it's because she wants to prevent shock, which I don't know if there's any truth to that.
I think, so I have heard of situations where a father comes home, his son has committed suicide, and the paramedics don't let him see the body because they insist that if you see a loved one like mangled, you'll like have nightmares and like the image will never leave
like she was
you.
protecting the kids from shock.
Yes.
When she said prevent shock, it was in an interview. All she said was prevent shock. I assumed she meant him going into shock. And I was like, I don't understand this.
Yeah, no.
That makes so much more sense.
Yeah.
To protect her kids.
Mm-hmm.
That makes so much sense. So she calls the police, and you can hear him in the background of the phone call at this point alive, saying that he doesn't feel good and asking like why she did it and all this stuff. And then they interview the son, and he describes it, this whole moment, as feeling almost a sense of relief when he realizes that Ray was shot, because even if Ray survived, it would mean that he wouldn't be able to hurt them again.
Was Ray hurting the kids? I meant to ask.
Yes.
Oh no.
He would beat them with a belt. Okay. Well, anyways, the son describes it as a sense of relief, and that's pretty sad. So Ray gets transported to the hospital, and he ends up dying there. Sally gets arrested for murder, and I'm like wondering where to go. Okay, so this could be a sensitive, like I have a, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for?
Trigger warning.
No, not trigger warning, but like I don't want to say theory, but I have like a personal
Opinion.
So Kobe and I both watched To Killer Sally together, and it shows, a bunch of interviews with like everybody, and it shows footage of the interrogation, like after it happens in the interrogation room, and they bring in Sally and they bring in her kids, and after interviewing them all separately, they let her kids in to say goodbye to her because she's being arrested for murder because Ray has died at the hospital.
Right.
And the son and daughter come in to say goodbye to the mom, and the mom's like, Sally, she's being really sweet, and she's like, look, I'm just, I have to go to prison because I have to go through a trial and everything, but we'll figure this out, like, don't worry. And the daughter's like crying and so sad, and the son, he's like not crying, and he's like, but do you remember what the policeman said? And Sally's like, yes, it's fine. Like, she's like clearly trying to shut him down, and he's like, well, the policeman said, if it's self-defense, you're fine. And he was like trying to like lead her. And
how old is he?
9.
Wow. Smart kid.
And yeah, I mean, smart, but like, it was just such a weird interaction. It was like, I don't know, Kobe and I just felt so uncomfortable about it. Like something was off there. And then they interviewed the son later after all of this, and he's like now in his probably 30s.
Mm-hmm.
And no, gosh, he would have to be in his, it was 2020.
When was he born?
He was 9 in 1995. I don't know. 1986.
So he would be, like late 30s, I think.
Okay. And I don't know. Kobe and I got such weird, but also like at this point he was an alcoholic, and he had gone into the military as well, and he had PTSD. So maybe he's on like medication, but there's something just off. I don't know. It's just a feeling that Kobe and I both picked up on. So I don't know. That could be sensitive because it's clearly a kid who went through some trauma, and maybe that's just his response.
I don't even know what the sensitive part is. It sounds like
I'm wondering if he had something more to do with it, because we'll go into like the discrepancies between her story.
Got it.
Okay, so Sally's bail ends up being set at $100,000, and her entire wrestling community, the ones who paid her for her videos and to wrestle with her and stuff, they like all get together and get the money so that she can get out on bail.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. And at the time of his death, Ray had 5 different kinds of steroids in his system, and Sally had 1. During the entire investigation, everyone talked about how Sally was likely to get violent, like just on a day-to-day basis. She had previously been arrested for beating up their mailman.
No shit.
And then at one point, like, somebody had either slapped her son or grabbed his arm or something, and her son went and told her, and she went over to that man's house. He was a father of another kid, and she beat him up.
I mean, that one's kind of fair.
That's an overreaction.
I mean, this adult man slaps your son?
I mean,
That's
you shouldn't go
insane.
beat him up. You should go and talk to him and figure out the situation. Maybe call the police. Like, just fucking beat him up. That's not...
Hashtag I'm with Sally.
Okay, that's fine. Anyway, she tends to seem like she had a aggressive personality with a short fuse as well. Mm-hmm. And I'm also about to drop some more hot tea.
Do it. Because my tea now is room temperature.
Okay, let's just turn the heat up on that. So it turns out the entire relationship with Sally, Ray was cheating on her.
Okay.
And regularly cheating on her with many different women. And Sally knew. She didn't like it. She wasn't happy with it. She was not accepting of it, but she knew about it. And one time at a competition, Sally beat up a different woman who had slept with Ray. And she actually got banned from bodybuilding competitions for an entire year. I
feel like bait and switched here. I didn't know any of this going into the story.
I know, because I wanted to give the story and then I wanted to give the nuances of the story. Yeah. This actually isn't that clear.
Yeah. Okay.
There's more to it than just murder. Yeah. So Ray's best friend, the one who called him a gentle giant with a short fuse, also said that he didn't think Ray loved or liked Sally the way she loved him. And in fact, Ray was seeing somebody on the side who he was really serious with, and they actually interviewed this woman and she described it as true love.
One, I doubt it. But two, why did Ray stay with her then? They're not his kids.
No, but she's funding his entire career.
Pick up a job. Like, this was the 90s. You could go to college on a part-time job. Like, who cares? Go work.
He had to buy 114 eggs.
Work at a grocery store.
Per week.
Get a discount. Boom.
He had to buy steroids.
That's in Mexico.
Drive down to Tijuana. He had to work out hours a day. He had a job. He had different jobs at some points. At one point, he was like a bouncer. So he had like little jobs around there.
See, that's perfect. Go work as a bouncer. All you have to do is stand there and look like someone who's trying to become Mr. Olympia.
But I don't think he wasn't like able to like hold a job because he would go and travel for these competitions.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, the only reason I can think of that he was still with Sally was the money. I don't know if that's true, but that's what makes sense to me.
All right. That sucks.
Yeah. Maybe also like he really loved the kids and didn't want to leave them. I don't know.
He was abusing them.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean he didn't love them in some twisted way.
I guess. We could have a whole episode about debating that.
So do you remember how I was like, she was trying to reach him all day on Valentine's Day and couldn't reach him?
Yes. Guess
where he was?
Oh, with his mistress.
He was with her the whole day.
So then he really comes home and is upset she's putting on makeup when he's out cheating all day?
We only know Sally's story.
Mm-hmm. So
I don't know. And I'm not saying Sally's a liar. I'm not saying that didn't happen. I have no idea. That's what Sally says happened. Mm-hmm. So yeah, on Valentine's Day, he was with the other woman, and Ray's best friend, this guy, man, he also says that Ray had told him that he wants to leave Sally for this other woman. And then after all this happens, more stuff happens. Okay, so we're going to get into the trial to learn more about this. And guess when the trial starts? You're not going to guess. Maybe you'll guess.
Okay, so it happened on 9/11. The trial starts.
No, the trial starts on February 14th, 1996.
Oh,
what day is February 14th, Gabe?
Valentine's Day.
Yes. Valentine's Day episode.
It would have been cooler on 9/11.
No, this is a Valentine's Day episode. That is very fitting. So the media obviously went like cray-cray for this case because she's like this blonde, well-built woman who shot her bodybuilding husband. Mm-hmm. And this is when we learn like things don't quite add up. So he was shot at first from approximately like 8 feet away into his right abdomen by her. Mm-hmm. And he was standing. And then he was shot again in the face. Now, the first shot was actually the killing blow. It's what ultimately killed him.
Interesting.
Yes, but it doesn't matter. So, to do the second shot, I don't know if you guys know this, but like with this shotgun, she had to reload. It's a single shotgun.
Really?
Yeah.
That's not a great self-defense weapon to have a single shotgun.
It was also like sawed off. I don't know what the fuck that means, but
I'll tell you. It's when you take the barrel and you literally saw it off.
Mhm.
So it is a shorter barrel. It is considered highly illegal to modify the barrels. The reason this is illegal is because it's easier to conceal a shotgun, right? Because you take a shotgun and you cut the barrel and now it's this long.
yeah.
It also has the side effect of reducing the range
Oh, interesting.
but also furthering the spread of the pellets.
Oh, that's what you
There's a-
want around kids. Okay.
Yeah, right. Because a shotgun is multiple pellets as opposed
Right.
to a single bullet,
Yeah.
which is why I was surprised he survived the first shot enough to go for the second, to receive a second. Makes me think they used bird shot, which is really, really small pellets meant to kill birds.
Hmm.
Because if they'd used
I mean, that would make sense for self-defense if you don't want to kill the person, but you want to scare them or hurt them.
no, screw that. I think,
You're like, no, murder them.
well, self-defense, I mean, if you don't know, especially if it's a single shot, you don't want to risk them surviving and getting to you.
Yeah. But I think, anyways, so she says she shot him by the kitchen and then he comes at her again. She reloads and immediately shoots him again.
Mhm.
She says the second load was in her hand this whole time. So she just reloaded and shot him again. Like it was a quick thing.
Sure.
However, in reality, the logistics don't make sense. The shell from the first shot is found in the bedroom. So it looks like she shot him, went back to the bedroom, reloaded, which popped out the shell in the bedroom, and then went back and shot him again.
Okay. That could still line up if they could prove Ray was still advancing onto her, just now slowed from the first shot.
Well, the blood splatter shows that he was on the ground when this shot from the second shot was shot.
Okay, that is now an execution.
Which means he was not standing and coming out at her. He was in fact on the ground.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. As you were telling the story the first time and he survives the first shot, I was like, that's really impressive.
He does survive the first shot because he does live long enough to go to the hospital where he then dies.
I misspoke. I mean, advancing.
Oh,
If he
okay.
he was still
Yeah,
able
yeah.
to advance after receiving the first shot.
Yeah. So the jury doesn't believe her because of this whole thing. And then also the way that she was presented as Killer Sally and on steroids and all this stuff. So,
I mean, all the other stuff is just fluff. What really matters is if the blood spatter proves this guy was executed, he was on the ground, incapacitated, bleeding out, dying, and then Sally fires another round into his face, that is not self-defense.
exactly. And I just don't know how she would have, I don't know. Like, why would she kill him?
Well, apparently he was cheating on her, and there must have been evidence that he was actually abusing them. If she reported him once in the military, so it's possible she was abusing her and her kids.
Yeah. Well, she was ultimately sentenced 19 years to life. She served 25 years and was released from prison in 2020.
How was she sentenced 15 years but served 20? Did she act out in prison?
19 years to life.
Oh, to life.
Yeah. I don't know how that works, but she got out after 25 in 2020. Oh, maybe she was released because of COVID.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
But I know that COVID, they released a lot of people.
Yeah.
Huh. Look at that.
Well, she's been out now for 5 years.
Yeah. So she currently lives in Northern California. She is now married to a guy named Stuart. So they seem happy. Stuart's friends were all like, don't marry her. And Stuart was like, it's fine. So, okay. But I'm so curious if being on the steroids like made their aggression worse. Like, is roid rage a thing? Like, how do steroids actually affect you?
I did some reading on this,
Okay.
and the answer is more nuanced than I think either of us would care for.
Gosh darn it.
I know. I always just want like a yes or no. So most of these steroids are either testosterone or replicate what testosterone should be doing for that sick muscle growth.
Right.
So testosterone can make the amygdala hyperactive. And the amygdala is the center of the brain that is responsible for fight or flight.
Mm-hmm.
So it can make you more sensitive to real or imagined threats. And there is some evidence that it also lowers inhibitions. So I guess if you take that combination of factors, you can make the argument that yes, roid rage is real.
Mm-hmm.
However, where the disputes come in is that it doesn't seem to really affect everyone who does steroids. And it seems more like you drunk, you sober are not going to start abusing Kobe. You drunk are not going to start abusing Kobe.
Mm-hmm.
So the counter side is this isn't something it like makes you do. That you kind of have to be that kind of person anyway.
Right.
And this just lowers your inhibition.
It kind of makes it come out.
Right.
Makes sense. And she had been in this like circle of abuse her entire life.
Yeah.
And Ray actually too. So.
Right. But like, I guess to speak, a little bit to the brain part of it a little more. Yes, you are more irritable, but that doesn't mean you're going to like beat someone.
Mm-hmm.
That has to be something you like
would naturally.
would probably do anyway.
Yeah.
Just not as often. But it's complicated. It's a mix of things, of course.
Yeah. Interesting. Are there any like health side effects of taking steroids?
Ooh,
No?
there are a lot.
Oh, really? Like
Yeah.
long term, probably.
Yeah. For men, because you're adding testosterone from external sources, it can cause your testicles to shrink.
Uh-huh.
So excess testosterone gets converted to estrogen.
Really?
So men can develop breasts.
Look at all those freaking bodybuilders. They have huge boobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, there's the increased irritability angle.
Mm-hmm.
But we're actually, and there's of course like depression and fatigue and like there's real mood impacts because you're taking this hormone that does on some level increase things like irritability and aggression.
Yeah.
But the effect on women is a little more severe.
Really?
Because women have naturally lower levels of testosterone.
Uh-huh.
It can permanently deepen the voice of women.
Mm-hmm.
It makes the vocal cords thicker,
Mm-hmm.
which causes a deeper voice.
Uh-huh.
And this change is irreversible even if you stop steroids.
Oh, geez, that sucks.
Yeah. As a woman, you can develop hair growth on the face, chest, and back.
Uh-huh.
And once these hair follicles are activated, they don't shrink after stopping steroids.
Ooh, that sucks too.
It can affect menstrual cycles,
Uh-huh.
either causing irregularity or ceasing it entirely, which would cause infertility.
Mm-hmm.
And the strangest one by
She
far.
did never have more kids. Interesting.
Oh yeah, probably a factor.
Yeah.
But also it can cause the clitoris to enlarge and it does not shrink back if you stop.
Interesting. Have you Googled her? Have you
No,
seen what? You should Google her.
I will now, yeah. Oh wow, is this from her recent? Here she is looking older. This must be a recent interview.
Yeah, that was the Killer Sally one. And then during her trial, her attorney actually told her to stop working out and get smaller so that she'd be seen as more of a
More feminine.
victim versus,
Right.
somebody who could easily beat up a man.
Yeah. So this is a side comment, but once upon a time, more in college when people think a lot about gyms and whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
I would hear from women that they don't want to get too bulky.
I feel like that's more of a common thing than back then.
What do you mean a common thing than back then?
Like women think weightlifting will make them bulky like
Right.
nowadays.
Yeah, but like it won't. I mean, you can
No.
look at Sally, who is on steroids, and she
she's-
looks super strong,
Right.
but you wouldn't look at her and be like, oh, she's like too masculine looking. Like the average woman going to the gym lifting heavy weights is not going to get
nearly
Like
as
that,
close.
like, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, because I was a little surprised. Because I was looking at Mr. Olympio would-be's,
Mm-hmm.
but then go to Sally's physique. I'm like, she's clearly super jacked, but
Well, look at Miss Olympia.
it's the tans, like the spray tan.
Mm-hmm.
Something about that makes it look so much weirder.
Not like how you can see literally every freaking muscle on their body.
But I think it's because of the tanning.
It's so weird. I can't.
Okay, the Miss Olympia winners, very unnatural looking.
Yeah.
But it's part of it is the tan. They just look bronzed like statues.
And oiled up.
Yeah.
So shiny. Oh my gosh. Anyways, it's a whole world. It's crazy.
Well, I gotta say,
don't know.
I don't have that fetish those dudes were
Yeah.
paying her for.
Yeah, it seems a very specialized fetish, and
Yeah.
she made bank doing it. Well, no, she made good money doing it.
Mhm.
So yeah. Anyways, that's that story. Happy Valentine's Day. Don't take steroids.
I gotta say, a couple of things surprised me.
Yeah.
One, that
Oh wait. Do you? No, I'm not even gonna. Yeah, go ahead.
no, what was your question?
Well, I was gonna be like, do you think Sally was telling the truth, or do you think it happened differently?
Oh, I believe the blood spatter. You can't fake that.
Yeah.
I was very much willing to believe her because there appears to be a trend of violence against her.
Mhm.
I don't know so much about her kids. Did they confirm? Okay, so this guy's actually hurting you and your kids. I think I can understand why she would have wanted to kill him, even if he wasn't physically attacking her in that moment.
Uh-huh.
But if he was abusing her that often, she had plenty of opportunities to kill him in a moment where it would have been ruled self-defense.
Right.
Or if she hadn't shot him in the face.
That second shot is what did it.
Yeah.
That's what brought the question.
Yeah. You having seen her interviews both soon after the shot, she killed Ray, and then more recently, having been released, does she talk about it?
She's really believable.
Is she really?
Yeah. Like she comes off as really like charismatic and yeah, but like it doesn't add up.
No.
So I don't know. She does say, she's like, it happened so fast. Like maybe I got some details wrong. And I'm like, shooting somebody when they're down is a heck of a lot different than them coming at you. Like,
yeah.
That's not a detail that's easy to mistake.
No. If she had just shot him that one time, she wouldn't have gone to prison.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she would have gotten a lot of sympathy. Because here's honestly also what tells me it looks really, really bad, or looked really, really bad to the jurors.
Mm-hmm.
This was the mid 90s, and admittedly, jacked white woman went to prison for killing a much bigger black man with a history of violence. Like, I feel like it has to look especially bad to get ruled against on that one.
Yeah, a big thing was that a lot of people testified that Ray wasn't violent because not everybody saw it. So there was that too.
That sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
I have some stats on domestic violence.
Ooh, tell me. That sounds fun.
Surprised me.
Okay. I'm kidding. That's not fun.
So this is coming from a paper titled Differences in Frequency of Violence and Reported Injury Between Relationships with Reciprocal and Non-Reciprocal Intimate Partner Violence. Meaning, how often are people hurt when domestic violence is reciprocal, so both people are doing it to each other, and when only one person is doing it to the other.
Kobe once broke my toe.
Ooh, wait, no. Didn't you like kick him and you broke your toe?
He was laying on the ground. I tried to jump over him. And my toe got stuck. My toe hit his ribs and I broke it.
So, get this. In 50.8% of all domestic violence cases.
Wait, let me guess. It's both.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, there's a lot of nuance to what starts it, but it appears that half of domestic violence situations, both are abusing each other. And So that means 49.2 of cases are non-reciprocal. So only one person is the abuser.
Right.
But in non-reciprocal violence, so cases where it's one person abusing the other,
Yeah.
women were the sole aggressors in over 70% of cases.
What?
Yes.
What is this? What is this paper you read? What is
This paper is from the National Library of Medicine, and it examines the frequency and reported injury between domestic violence situations where it is reciprocal and non-reciprocal.
That's very interesting.
So that surprised me.
Yeah.
But here's the key difference is obviously men are on average bigger and stronger. So men are far more likely to cause serious injury. And
Break a toe.
break a toe.
Yeah.
And so the hypothesis is men, when it's only one way, it's men not hitting back. Like women are the aggressors, men don't hit back because of possibly the concern of causing more serious harm. But that surprised me.
That surprised me too. Color me shocked.
Oh, and just to give all of you data on the sample size, this came from analyzing U.S. adults aged 18 to 28 from the 2001 National Longitudinal Study of Adolescent Health.
That's young.
18 to 28?
Yeah.
Yeah, sort of. I mean, that's kind of the range where I think most people find the partner that you're going to marry.
Don't tell that to my friends.
But it was 18,761 heterosexual relationships. So it is a pretty robust sample size. And yeah, just shocked me.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say. I'm like, I wasn't expecting that I'd have. Well, what a deep dive. And we could go further, but we're not going.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Jenny, for the episode.
Yeah. Have a great Valentine's Day, everybody.
Yep. Follow us on Instagram and subscribe to our Patreon so we can do more episodes more frequently with better budgets.
Yeah, we just released another Patreon episode it'll be a couple weeks ago when this gets released. And I found it funny. So obviously I'm not biased at all.
We are objective truth tellers.
Yeah. And don't tell anybody, but also our Patreons are going to get a surprise in the mail. So it's not just episodes. You also get random gifts when Danny's like, hey, I'm bored. I'm going to go buy stuff. So
subscribe
because it's a mystery gift.
Heck, hell yeah. I mean, heck yeah. I don't know. Are we cussing?
I'm pretty sure I said that F word multiple times. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you all. Bye.